Shalom people, this is Brother Laws coming at you with another video. And it's a beautiful autumn evening here in North Carolina. I think the leaves on the trees here in this state have some of the most amazing colors. And if I was an artist, you would never run out of scenery to paint here in this state, especially if you go to the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's a certain sections of it that you can drive through, and there are people that come all across the United States and the world to see these majestic mountain ridges with all these different colored trees and their fall foliage. And it wasn't a shock to me when me and my wife was looking at this program several years ago, and it was talking about the building of the Blue Ridge Parkway. And that's kind of the time that we was, really waking up from our stupor. And, we was listening to the documentary about how after the Civil War, how they were, locking up our men and women for the littlest thing and getting them to getting them locked up and using them to basically do prison labor. And that how the Blue Ridge Parkway, most of the roads and the tunnels and the bridges and all that stuff was built by, black, you might as well say, black prison slave labor. And that because the terrain, because it's mountains, and although, like I said, the foliage and everything is beautiful, it gets very cold up there. And there's some places up there in the Smoky Mountains and those other areas where winds have been clocked at close to 200 miles an hour coming down out of those mountains and coming down into the Piedmont area of North Carolina. And our ancestors that were unfairly locked up for violating these ridiculous laws, that they built this beautiful Blue Ridge Parkway. And they said so many of them died that a lot of times they would just have to do mass graves. And they said people would kind of be shocked if they really would uncover the mass graves that they buried these guys in, that they probably don't even have a marker or anything. And it's just so sad that when you see such beauty, you come to understand that it was all built in blood. And it's ridiculous. And again, if you would try to bring this up, they would say that's CRT, that's critical race theory, that's communism and all that. But it's true. How can you look at the beauty of the Blue Ridge Parkway but then yet deny you? And you would probably say, oh, they're lying, that no black people were killed in building this, and they would just lie and everything. And this is why, I have to, temper myself sometimes when I see the beauty. And sometimes I have to kind of almost like, block it out, that, pretty much a lot of things that you see in this nation that are magnificent and beautiful, you have to come to you had to come to grips with the fact that it's hardly anything. Even when you go to Washington, D.C., when you look at the Capitol building, when you look at the White House, when you look at the Pentagon, where the Pentagon was, which I think they said that the Pentagon, is the largest office building or something to that effect in the world. But the area that they They built the Pentagon, and I got to go back and research it. I think they said it used to be where the slave cabins were, because my understanding is the area was real swampy, and usually where they put blacks, at, up in that area, that Virginia, DC, Maryland area, right? They would put in the worst part of the land, and it's crazy, that, like I said, when you see all the magnificent stuff, even Central Park, my understanding that Central Park, they did a riot in order to get that section of New York so that they could have a park. Black people lived there at one time, thriving. And again, like I said, the Blue Ridge Parkway is beautiful. I've never been to Central Park, but I heard that Central Park is beautiful. I've never been to well, let me take that back. I've been past the Pentagon. I never went inside, but I went past the Pentagon, and I think this was after 9/11. So, but I have been on the Blue Ridge Parkway. We want to go again, but going back to what I said, all these things are beautiful, but if you really get down to the bare bones of it, it's hardly anything in this nation. And this is why, I really get upset, when they say, well, why you got to bring that part up? Because without the labor of my ancestors, it wouldn't be here, right? That's what I'm saying. So you're saying we want it here, but we don't want the fact that your ancestors did it. We don't want to hear that fact. We just want to hear the good parts. And that brings me to is a scripture. I think Yeshua said, he talked about, the I guess the people at one time was complaining about John the Baptist, being too rugged, too rough. But then when he came, they said, "Oh, you're too soft, and you're a wine bibber, and you're a glutton." All of these things, which were not true. They were not true. Just like they said that Yeshua was casting out demons in the power of Beelzebub, but none of it was true. He was not that. He was not that. He was not when you say friend of sinners. No, he wasn't. And I don't, I hear some people say, Jesus is a friend of sinners. No, he will become your friend if you do what he says. What did he tell his commandment, his disciples? He said, if you're gonna be my brother, if you're gonna be my friend, if you're gonna call me Lord, then you got to do what I tell you to do and keep my commandments. So no, those that are sinners are not his friends until they commit themselves to salvation, because the Bible said he is angry with the wicked every day. But getting back, they were saying all these things about Yeshua, which were not true. And so Yeshua said, okay, you said John the Baptist is too rugged. You say that I'm, this wine bibber and everything. He said, but wisdom, right, knows who her children is. And so what he was basically showing, you can come to people in a hard way. You can come to the people in the soft way, but those that will be wise will be able to get something out of either way. If you're saying, well, he just too hard for me, I can't get nothing out of it because he's just so hard. No, I can get. Oh well, he's just too beat around the bush when he talking. He can't just get to the point. He trying to keep from offending. I can get something from both persons speaking, right? If you want to get something, you understand? If you want to get something, you can get something out of either mode that's being used. So you can't reason with people when you're talking about this the great beauty and scenery and stuff in this nation that was built by our people. You can come hard like Black Lives Matter. They're not gonna listen. Or you can come soft and just diplomatic and say, yeah, but that's all in the past, and they still will get upset. Think about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Both of them, the racists hated with a passion, but they could more tolerate King because they felt that he was a pacifist to a certain extent, not understanding that at the beginning of the Birmingham movement, that no, they did not have that pacifist mind. They actually did have armed people, and I would dare say even into certain places, I'm pretty sure that they still had people that had something. But we ain't gonna go into that. The point is, they hated both vehemently. But years later, of course, when they want to appeal to us as black people, they always appeal to us with Martin Luther King, when at time they didn't like him, right? They always want to bring up that his sayings and different things, which a lot of those sayings, like I said, that he said was not his. Some of them were written for him, and he read them because he was eloquently. But when you heard him in his latter years, he was fiery. He had got the fire back in it because he came to understand, man, you can't talk to these people in a reasonable manner. So when we come back to Washington, D.C., we coming for our check. Then that's the burning house. He said, I've integrated my people into the burning house. When he had said this, and then when he had the a mountaintop sermon, which sermonette really, because he wasn't scheduled to speak that night, but they wanted him to get up, say some words in Mason Temple. When he said he had got to the mountaintop, he seen on the other side that we were going to make it. They had already had in planned mind that they was going to kill him. And, they had people within his circle that was going to help them do it. But they didn't like that because they found a man that knew, okay, as I step up my push back, right, and I'm just going to do my John the Baptist on him. He kind of knew, okay, they know I got enough black people that can make a dent in their economy, and he knew that they was going to take him out. And so it shall be in these days and times as we start pushing back and saying, hey, we want some compensation, we want some recognition for all this stuff that was done to us. There will be some that will fall. There's been some that's fell already. It's nothing new, right? It's not nothing new. It's just another reason for what they do. You understand what I'm saying? When they kill you, right? It's just another thing. One of the favorite movies that Denzel Washington made that I like, which a lot of people don't, give him enough credit for, is the movie he made about Stephen Biko. Me and my wife went to see that back in the 80s, right? And not, although to me Malcolm X is the best movie that he ever made, Stephen Biko was very, very, very well put, and I liked it, and it was sad, but it also was inspiring. That here the guys pushing back against the South African government. He didn't hold no bars back. And so everyone has their own gifts. Some people are meant to bring out something in a peaceable way. Some people are meant to be the John the Baptist. But to those that seek wisdom, they're gonna be able to get understanding and wisdom from either way, whatever mode that the people. So that's not, and I'm talking to myself sometimes too, let's not always be hard on our brothers or our sisters that we think, they're just being too diplomatic or whatever. let's not be hard on our brothers and sisters that we think is really hard and maybe they need to hold back. No, let them. We need both, right? Because Yeshua said either way, those that are of wisdom, those that want to get something out of it, they're going to be able to get something out of it. Some people need that, right? And so with that, I'm going to ask you to just continue to pray for Most High to continue to give us the courage and the strength and the knowledge to be able to bring forth certain things out here, because they need to be spoken into the atmosphere. They need to be put out there, right? The Bible talks about the prayers of the righteous going up, ascending up to the throne. And as we speak these things out, and as we declare them, and as we declare that we want our just do, these prayers are going up. And the more that the Most High hear these things, right, it'll be a sweet smelling, a savor in his nostrils. And you say, you know what, I got to go down there and give those people justice. I got to go down and give them the vengeance that they have been, because remember, we always quote it, vengeance is mine, saith Most High. Meaning, whose vengeance? Yes, definitely his vengeance, but also our vengeance, which he's saying, I'm going to put you in a place where you can't take revenge. You know why? You're not going to be able to take revenge because you as my people killed my son. You had my son Yeshua killed. And if I take out my vengeance that I will have on you, you will be wiped out. Therefore, those that do these different atrocities and different things to you, I'm not going to allow you to take vengeance on them, because you nullified that when when I sent you the answer, which was Yeshua, to deal with this. You didn't want them. So now I'm telling you, vengeance is mine. And that vengeance is being taken out right now. That vengeance is also going to be taken out in the battle of Armageddon, right? And so we pray. That doesn't mean that individually if someone confronts you and try to deal with you, that you don't deal back with them. We're not saying that, but I'm saying overall as a people, our mode will never be able, well, not that we could, maybe not would be, but the Most High said our deal is not to try to overthrow some government, try to overthrow some whatever. Our deal is to continue to speak it out into the atmosphere, declare it, wait patiently for it, right? And admit when we make mistakes, when we're analyzing and theorizing on some of the scriptures that we see. If we're wrong, we're wrong. You say, hey, we said thus and so, but we clearly see here that that's not going to be. When I came to understand, this is before I came to understand all this stuff about what was going on here in America with all the beautiful things, monuments and different things. I was, naive and everything. Oh, America, oh, beautiful, for spacious sky, for amber waves of grain, and all this. Now, I understood about slavery. I knew that slavery was bad, but I didn't delve down into the nitty gritty of it. And once I got hit upside the head to come to realize, I said, man, I can't look at none of this stuff the same way that I did before. So with that, I'm going to ask you to give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to ask you to leave a comment. I'm going to ask you to subscribe. Be blessed.